High in the mountains, where snow-capped peaks seem to hold up the sky and clouds cling to razor-sharp cliffs, another world begins. This is a world forged from stone, wind, and silence. Here, in the harsh lands of the Himalayas, on the northern slopes of India, and across the high plateau of Tibet, live a people whose way of life is almost unimaginable to those of us used to bustling cities and modern comforts. Picture a tiny village clinging to a mountainside. The houses are low and stout, built from rough stone and clay to withstand the fury of the wind and the crushing weight of snow. A single thin thread of smoke rises from a chimney, a sign of life, of warmth within. And it's inside these walls that you find a reality that turns our concept of family completely upside down. Here, under one roof, sharing a single hearth, live one woman and her several husbands, all of whom are brothers. It might be well below freezing outside, with a biting wind knocking at the door, but inside, a woman sits in the dim glow of a fire. Beside her are her husbands. They might be mending a harness, sorting yak wool, or simply warming themselves in silence. This isn't a random arrangement or a strange twist of fate. It is a rule forged over centuries. Because here in the Himalayas, everything is different. Even the family is built on its own set of laws. In places where the land is fertile, it's simple enough to divide it among sons. Each gets his own plot, builds a home, and starts a family. But here, at this altitude, every square foot of land is won from rock and frost through incredible effort. A home the size of a small living room, a couple of yaks or sheep. This is the extent of their wealth. To split this inheritance 2, 3, or 4 ways would be to condemn everyone to starvation and death. This is why, in these parts, the family inheritance is never divided. It remains whole. To keep it that way, all the brothers stay in their father's house, and so they can have a family, continue their lineage, and secure the future of this home and this land. They all marry the same woman, one wife for all the brothers. This is called polyandry, and here it is not a curiosity, but a fundamental requirement for survival. Here, you don't forge your own path. There is only the shared path. This wisdom, hammered into shape by the forces of nature over centuries, is the foundation of their lives. For most of us, a family is a union between two people based on love and romance. Here, a family is an economic and social unit, a tightly knit team created for the sole purpose of surviving the daily struggle. Romance and individualism are secondary to the main goal, to preserve the land, the home, and the family as a single, unified whole. The woman in such a family holds a unique, almost paradoxical position. On the one hand, being the only woman among several men might seem to make her vulnerable in other cultures. On the other, she is the center of this universe. She is the one who binds the brothers together. She is the household manager, the treasurer, and the diplomat. The harmony and stability of the entire family rest on her wisdom and her ability to distribute resources, both material and emotional. By marrying all the brothers, she accepts an immense responsibility. She is not just a wife. She is the head of the household in the broadest sense. She plans food supplies, assigns chores, and maintains order. Perhaps most difficult for an outsider to comprehend, she manages the intimate relationships between her husbands. The brothers have lived and worked together since birth. They are used to sharing everything: a bed in childhood, their toys, their chores. Now they share a wife. This requires incredible discipline and a rejection of the selfish impulses considered normal in other societies. Here, jealousy isn't just an emotion, it's a direct threat to the family's existence. A conflict between brothers over their wife could lead to a split, and the split would mean dividing the land and the collapse of their livelihood. In these mountains, jealousy is a luxury no one can afford. This harsh truth is ingrained from an early age. The family must function as a single, well-oiled machine. Every member, including the brother husbands, must suppress personal ambitions and feelings for the common good. Intimacy is handled by mutual agreement. There are no strict schedules posted on a wall, as one might imagine. There is respect and understanding. A system of signals or unwritten rules allows each brother to spend time with the wife without causing open conflict or resentment. It requires constant attention to the needs and feelings of others, all for the higher purpose of maintaining unity. One brother might be with the wife in their shared room, while the others are busy with work outside or spending time in other parts of the house. This is not seen as a humiliation for the others, but as an accepted necessity, part of their shared life. Everyone understands the rules of the game because this is what survival demands. The brothers plow the fields together, harvest crops, herd yaks in the mountains, and set out on long, dangerous trading expeditions into the valleys. All income goes into a common pot, which the woman distributes as the head of the household. This pooling of labor allows them to tackle tasks that would be impossible for one person or a divided household. Here, the focus is never on the individual, but always on the group. This philosophy permeates every aspect of life. It's not my yak, but our yak. Not my field, but our field. And there is no my wife in an exclusive sense. There is our wife, the mother of the future generations who will inherit this land and preserve this home. The house itself becomes a symbol of this unity. It may lack the comforts we take for granted, but it is their shared home, built by their shared hands and warmed by a common hearth. There are no separate bedrooms for each husband. There are common areas and a single room that the woman shares in rotation with her husbands. This space, the most intimate, the most personal, is also part of the collective whole. Inside such a home, there is no room for individual ambition. Every action is considered, every gesture aimed at maintaining the collective rhythm. It is a rhythm of life developed over generations and honed to be almost automatic. Even the silence during a meal is not an awkward one. It is a silence of consensus, of a shared existence. Few words are spoken because everyone could disrupt the fragile balance. You might ask yourself, how is this even possible? How do they avoid jealousy and resentment? In a house where one woman lives with several husbands, personal feelings are secondary to a collective consciousness. This doesn't mean feelings don't exist. It means they are disciplined. A workday for a family like this is a case study in coordination. The brothers are in the fields together, working side by side. They herd the yaks together. They embark on dangerous, grueling treks through mountain passes to trade goods or buy necessities. Their labor is unified, their strength multiplied. This allows them to cultivate more land, grow a larger harvest, and endure longer journeys than if each man worked alone. To an outsider, this way of life can seem incredible, even primitive. Visitors and researchers who first encounter polyandry are often shocked, asking questions that the mountain people themselves simply don't understand. Questions about jealousy, privacy, and how a person can be shared. But these questions come from a different logic, a logic of abundance and individualism. The people of the Himalayas see nothing unusual or wrong in their arrangement. For them, it is the only possible way to survive. It is a tradition passed down through generations that has proven its effectiveness over centuries. It may be hard to grasp, it may raise uncomfortable questions, but it is impossible not to admire the strength of spirit, the discipline, and the deep, unpretentious wisdom of these people who have found a way to preserve their culture and their land in a place where nature itself seems against them. They live not in spite of their circumstances, but because of them, turning harsh necessity into a unique form of family and society.